Hey everybody. Today we're just going to have a quick before and after look at my Black Ghost knifefish tank. As you can probably tell by looking, I need to get in there and wipe the glass down. I'm going to do a water change. Some of the vegetation is getting a little overgrown, and I'll get in some nooks and crannies and vac out, any detritus I can pick up. This tank is absolutely full of little back swirls and eddies and little places for detritus to collect, and we're going to get in there and try to vac a little bit of that out. I've got several videos that I'm working on at the moment, so we're not going to make this one very elaborate. I just want to give you a nice good look at the tank here, and then I'm going to get on to just on some maintenance, and then we'll have an afterwards look. So let's have a look in the top real quick. And that gives you a little better idea. Hang on a minute, let me move this cloth out of the way a little bit. That gives you a little better idea of what I'm dealing with as far as being able to get in there and deal with some of the plants. You can see this temple plant right here has already come up out of the water. It's going to be growing right into the glass here pretty soon, and of course the hot glass from the light sitting right on it will wind up killing the top of the plant anyway, so I'm going to have to get in there and trim that plant down. This water sprite's getting a little out of control. It's blocking a lot of the light from the bottom. And once upon a time, long ago, I put duckweed in this tank thinking that was a good idea, and I've never been able to fully get all the duckweed out of there. So think long and hard before you decide you want to put duckweed in a tank. So removing a lot of that duckweed, or as much as I can easily scoop out by surface skimming it, will be on my agenda for things I want to accomplish while I'm in there today too. So let me get started. There is your before look. And there's your after. So I made quite a difference today. I really did a lot while I was in there. Two things make the biggest difference. One is the amount of tannins I removed. I really did a big water change. And the other is the amount of vegetation I removed. When I got in there, I found that not only was the water sprite growing really thick, but a lot of the top of this Java Fern here that's growing on this piece of wood had the green Cyanobacteria growing on it. If you look closely, let's see if we can find some still on there. You can see that really pretty soft green stuff on that leaf to the left there. That's actually Java algae. That's something a little different than what I'm talking about. You can see some of that sort of green fuzzy stuff on the wood back there. That's the Cyanobacteria, and that was growing really thick on a lot of this Java Fern. So I got in there and I knocked a lot of that off, and I even removed quite a bit of the Java Fern. It was getting really overgrown, so we cut that way back. I have no idea what this plant here on the end is. I don't ever remember putting a plant on that, and very slowly over the last 6 or 8 months I've watched it develop. So I don't know what plant that is, but it's a really interesting looking plant, and I'm curious to see what it's going to grow into as it gets larger and more recognizable. So I also scraped a little bit of the wood back there, as I already mentioned. I got some Cyanobacteria off of that. I cut these back. Well, actually I only cut the main trunk back that was growing out of the water. The other ones are getting close, but they're not there yet, so I left them alone. I also removed quite a bit of the water sprite. I removed most, or at least a lot, of the duckweed. Of course, if you leave one little piece of duckweed in there, it'll grow back. So at some point I'll be in there removing a ton of duckweed again. And then of course I got in and I vacked out all around the bottom of the plants and under the caves as much as I could. Again, there's just tons and tons of places for the detritus to collect. And I did get a bunch of big chunks of the green Cyanobacteria, and I saved them. We'll have a look at them in another video coming up real soon. So make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss anything I've got coming up. We will do the video about the Cyanobacteria. We'll have a look at it, just sort of free floating, not attached to anything. It'll help you identify it a lot more easily as to whether or not you've got some kind of algae in your tank or whether you've actually got this Cyanobacteria. So again, if you're subscribed, you won't miss that video. Plus, I've got a few other things I'm working on. So, thank you for watching this one, and I will see you real soon on the next one.